to the Midlife Leap, a lifestyle talk show for women in midlife. I'm your host, Sanita Johnson, and I am excited to share tips and interviews on topics ranging from business, career, current news, fashion, shopping, health, travel, and so much more. And because I'm known as the Midlife Leap Coach, from time to time I'll share some of my signature Midlife Leap coaching tips. So come on, ladies, let's reignite and reimagine our Midlife Leap journey together. Whenever we see times of great financial distress and high unemployment, unfortunately we see an uptick in scams. What is on the rise right now are scammers posting fake jobs on legitimate job search sites such as Indeed and the legitimate ones, Monster.com, Simply Hire. Some of the things that you can look for is that unfortunately a lot of scammers are using legitimate businesses when they're posting jobs. So before you submit to that job, go to that company website on your own and make sure that the job that's posted on the job site is also on that company website. When they reply back to your application also, you can make sure that that email that you're getting contacted from is a business email address. You can also call that phone number and verify. Also, all applications should not be none of the applications should be asking for your social security number, your driver's license, very personal security information. You should not give that out. So just do your research and be extremely careful, because looking for a job is stressful enough. Being scammed on top is not something you want to deal with. Good luck in your job search. Today, we welcome Emily Brown. She's a proud Howard University graduate and a certified health and wellness coach with graduate level training in human nutrition and functional medicine from the University of Western States. She's also a pre-licensure certified nutrition specialist. Emily makes her living helping women that have chronic and autoimmune conditions she helps them take back their health so that they can live a life that they love, which is so important right now. Now, Emily, will you tell us, what do you wish for women who are in midlife to know about nutrition, health, and well-being as related to chronic illness, and also share with us what inspired you to become a nutritionist and health coach?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Sanita, first of all, for having me on the show. I just love talking to people and sharing as much information as I can. So I really appreciate you having me on your platform. But to answer your question regarding how I got into this work, it actually started with my own personal health journey when I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition over 12 years ago after I had my first child. And I had all of these mysterious symptoms that I didn't understand what was going on. I was bloated. I was chronically fatigued. I had gastrointestinal problems. My skin was dry. My hair was brittle. I had brain fog as well. I could not concentrate for the life of me. And of course, I thought, well, maybe it's, I just had a baby. Of course, I'm going to be out of sorts. But after that lingered for some time, well, after giving birth, I knew that something was going on. I knew this was not normal. And I had to figure out what was going on. So I finally did find a doctor who diagnosed me with a condition called Hashimoto thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune disorder. It's the autoimmune version of hypothyroidism, in which my thyroid just isn't functioning properly and it isn't producing enough thyroid hormone that my body needs. For people who aren't familiar with thyroid hormone, it is an essential hormone in your body that all of your cells need, and it regulates your metabolism, it regulates your body heat. It basically keeps you alive. So if you don't have your thyroid working properly, then you are not working properly. And in fact, when I went to the doctor and he got my blood results back and he sat me down and he said, I'm glad you came in, because if you didn't, you would have gone into a coma. So that's how serious this condition was. And honestly, I felt like I was already in a coma because I was sleeping so much. So that really started my journey to becoming a functional nutritionist and health coach. But it took me a while to get here, because I spent over a decade working as a journalist on Capitol Hill here in Washington, D.C. And when I decided I was ready to do something else, I was ready to change careers and leave journalism behind, the natural decision was for me to enter into the health space as a health coach and a nutritionist. And the reason why is because in those early days when I was first diagnosed, even after being prescribed medication, some of the symptoms resolved, but not all of them. I was still having mood issues, like I was depressed, really for no reason, and I was having some other issues. And it wasn't until I did my own research and I came across a platform, a forum that talked about gluten sensitivity and celiac disease. And I decided I was going to do an elimination diet and figure out if this was actually the culprit and causing some of my problems. And in fact, it was. Within 3 days, my symptoms completely resolved. It was an answered prayer. I considered it a miracle. I was like so thankful that the internet was available for me to find that information. And so for people who aren't familiar with gluten, it's a protein that's found in wheat and barley and rye. And oftentimes people with autoimmune conditions tend to be sensitive to gluten. They may not be diagnosed with celiac disease, which is also an autoimmune condition, but they may have some intolerance to gluten, and it simply attacks, their body starts to attack gluten whenever they ingest it. And it affects the lining of the gut, and it starts to erode that lining. So and it causes all kinds of symptoms, inflammation. For some people, it's joint pain, depending on the autoimmune condition. Whenever they eat gluten, these symptoms start to flare up. So after realizing that and understanding how important food was in my healing journey, it just made sense for me to enter the field of nutrition. And so I'm so fortunate to be able to help other people, women like myself and other women in midlife, traverse this journey, understand what is going on with their body, unpack all of these symptoms, and really get to the underlying cause. Because oftentimes, the symptoms are one thing, but we have to understand what is really going on beneath the surface. So one of the things that I really, really highly want to impart on women in midlife when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to your health and well-being, is that it's never too late to make a change in your life. It's never too late to say, you know what? I want to be better. I want to feel better. I want you to know that you deserve to feel great in your body. You deserve to live the life that you love. And, midlife is a great time to do that. And so I really want to suggest to you, we're going to get to nutrition, but I like to look at all facets of a person's life. When they come and sit down with me and we do our health assessment, I like to take a very deep dive into their health history, their family history. And some of the things that I like to look at are sleep hygiene. I want to know how many hours of sleep is a person sleeping. Ideally 7 to 8 hours. Some people require less than that. Some people require a little bit more. But understanding if you are obtaining enough sleep for your body and for your needs. So that's one thing. Let's understand, are you getting enough sleep? And that's an easy change to make. So we're going to look at that low-hanging fruit, right? So sleep is one. Let's also look at stress. Are you facing chronic stress? Because we know that chronic stress produces inflammation in the body, and that can, cause imbalances in your body and throw off homeostasis. So we want to make sure that if you have any stressors in your body, that you're finding ways to mitigate that stress. And I like to think of meditative practices, prayer, having a supportive network, supportive system that you can lean on when you're going through difficult times and tough times. And we all are going through tough times right now due to the pandemic to one degree or the other. Even therapy, know when you've hit your breaking point, know when you need to go seek professional support. And therapy, I'm a huge proponent of. So finding ways to mitigate that stress. Exercise is also an amazing way to mitigate that stress and get your endorphins up and, really address the stressors in your life. So maybe engaging in more movement and engaging in an exercise practice that you really enjoy, whether that's yoga or running or walking, just getting your body moving, because our bodies are meant to move. So going back to nutrition too, making sure that we're looking at what is on your plate, right? And what are some things that you're eating? I always suggest, of course, the easiest thing to do is just incorporate more whole foods, whole fruits and vegetables. And if you can, try to do organic as much as possible, because we want to avoid environmental toxins like pesticides. So try to choose organic fruits and vegetables, a range of them. Just go crazy and try new things and be adventurous with your fruits and vegetables. And of course, making sure you're choosing good quality meats as well. You want to make sure you're getting some good protein. If you are a person who eats meat, if you can, try to buy wild caught fish and try to do grass-fed beef. Ideally, in an ideal world, we would be doing that, but I understand budgets can be tight. So just making sure you're choosing the whole foods and you're good to go. And that can really influence your gut microbiome, making sure you have a healthy, good bacteria, and you're feeding it and nourishing all of that good bacteria in your gut, the foods that it needs to thrive and to make you healthy. A lot of people don't know this, but 70% of our immune system is in our gut. So when I talk about gut, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making sure your immune system is healthy and that you can thrive and you can fight off bacteria and viruses and whatever is coming your way. Wow. So just looking at all of those factors is what I would suggest, Anita.
And really quick, because honestly, before you mentioned it, I thought that the gluten was a fad, especially having lived in LA. There's so many fads. Until a friend of mine who happens to be a doctor, she got really sick and she had to change her gluten diet. But also I have two relatives that have lupus. I have a couple of friends that have autoimmune issues, even thyroid, and one has a rare autoimmune situation. And we're all midlifers. But we have to go soon. But can you express whether is that more common in midlife women?
Absolutely. And it's common in women in general. So there's an organization that tracks these statistics. 50 million Americans have an autoimmune condition. 75% of them are women. Wow. So unfortunately, women are just more predisposed to it because of the estrogen in our body. It's for some reason, it predisposes us to autoimmune conditions.
And with the food today probably aggravates that.
Absolutely. We just don't have adequate nutrition. The way that our food is grown, it has stripped the minerals and the vitamins out of the foods. And unfortunately, if we're eating too much processed foods, we're not getting those nutrients that we need. That's why I say it always comes back to, let's just keep it simple. Stay on the outer perimeter of the grocery store as much as possible. Those whole fruits and vegetables and really good quality meats.
Okay, Emily, how can someone reach you for your services? And you have a 20-minute freebie?
Yes.
Understand?
Yep. It's a 20-minute exploratory call. So anyone who's interested, if you just want to chat and you want to see, is working with Emily a good idea? Can she help me? I do offer a 20-minute exploratory call where we get to discuss what your condition is, what are your signs and symptoms, and to figure out if we're a good fit, to see if I can even help you. And if not, I will be happy to refer you to the support that you need. But it's just great to know that you have someone that you can turn to if you have questions, and I'm here for that.
And what's your website?
It's EmilyBrownHealthCoach.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Ladies, let's get our guts healthy and just overall get our life healthy and fit and whole and happy.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.